Hi, I'm Brittany from Keto Hughes. Let's talk about all the ways people are using fasting to atone for their eating choices. Things like cheat days, falling off the wagon, and major binges. The potentially dark side of extended fasting. Today I want to open a conversation about the darker side of extended fasting, intermittent fasting, and the ketogenic lifestyle. Before I get into it, let me be clear. I totally support fasting, intermittent fasting, and keto. Each one has their time and place in my healing journey, and I've read so much of the science behind a fasting lifestyle. This discussion is not about the general use of fasting for autophagy and healing. This conversation is about when it's used to punish the body for what you've been eating or when it's used for rapid weight loss. I recently saw a raw and powerful video from Daniela Diaries about why she stopped keto and fasting. It was because of her daughters and their responses to her doing them. Ultimately, it was about the example she sets for them as a mom. I'll put a link in the description to her video. Check her out, she's awesome. I didn't come into fasting and keto for weight loss. Now, before you click off, hear me out. I've talked about my journey with diets before. I honestly wanted to find a way to eat that would allow me to feel better, have more energy, and either stop or reverse all the pain in my joints. Yes, I have released weight, a lot of weight, but I feel like it's a side effect of my healing, not the focus. Let me know in the comments how you're using fasting and how you feel about this conversation. Because there's so much diet culture out there, it's easy for me to spot where these tools are being used in a potentially unhealthy way. I'm not the keto police, truly I'm not. I want to offer another perspective for you to think about before you do you. Lately in the Facebook groups I'm in, there's been a lot of people recommending extended fasts as a way to lose the weight gained by cheat days, falling off the wagon, and binge eating. First off, I despise that languaging. Why do we continue to assign food as good or bad? It's not. It's just another form of diet culture and another thing to feel bad or guilty about. What if instead you took responsibility for the choices you make? Instead of a cheat meal, you're choosing to have this particular plate of food. You eat it, you enjoy it, you move on. If you have a negative reaction in your body or digestion, then you learn something from it as well. But the idea that you have to atone for your eating sins just perpetuates the diet culture. It perpetuates self-loathing or feeling guilty for not meeting some standard that you never set. You're not broken. And frankly, this is so prevalent because at the end of the day, most people want to lose weight as fast as humanly possible. And so they're willing to do whatever it takes to do that. And by doing whatever it takes, it makes the loss unsustainable and creates a diet cycle in your body. And by labeling food good or bad, you create a mental cycle of judging yourself and your choices. As a person with active eating disorders, I'm very sensitive to extended fasts. For me personally, they sometimes trigger feeling ravenous and out of control. They sometimes trigger the desire to binge eat or an actual binge. So when I see other people either recommend extended fasts or use extended fasts after a binge, it makes me furious. It's okay to make adjustments to your journey. If you want to have a day where you eat differently, then make that choice. And if intermittent fasting makes you want to binge, then don't do it. If extended fasts trigger you, then don't do them. It took me 6 months of inner work before I was able to successfully do a 36-hour fast. I have a laundry list of health issues that are still healing. Some of them have healed through the intermittent fasting, but some of them haven't. So I keep trying to fast longer. If I start a fast and can tell it's headed south, I'll break it and try again in a week or two. This entire discussion reminds me of when I was a raw and living foodist. In other words, I didn't eat anything cooked. In that community, if you're 100% raw, there's an air of superiority. And you're looked at differently if you're at 95% raw or 50% raw. In the keto world, there are super strong assertive opinions about the right or wrong way to do it. I did a Dirty Lazy Keto rant. I'll put a link in the description if you haven't watched it yet. Before we started our channel, I wouldn't say the words keto, fasting, or low carb to people. I would say I'm working on coming off sugar and wheat so I can see how they affect my inflammation. Or sometimes I would say I'm intermittent fasting and lowering my overall carbs. I would say that because there's just as many people against fasting, keto, and low carb as there are keto beliefs telling you the exact way that you should do it. We're all adults here, and my thought is that you're responsible for you. You're responsible for what you eat, what you watch, whether or not you move your body. So perhaps the response to cheat days, falling off the wagon, and binge eating is to shift your thoughts about them and not use those words. Plan what you're eating. Take responsibility for what you're eating and consider not punishing yourself if you move into an old pattern. You don't want to create a new issue like disordered eating or a cycle of slipping and atoning. You don't have to fast because you ate more food. You don't have to exercise because you ate more food. You don't have to punish yourself or atone for what you ate. And you're not broken. You're doing the best you can along the way, and that's great. Here's what I said at the end of the Dirty Lazy Keto rant. I think we can do better with our language around food, weight, and health. I think we can do better in how we treat one another on the path of life. If we're truly in this together, then can we be kind? Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing, sharing it, and commenting. Kindness is a choice. I choose to be kind.